I will be ranting on yours, mine and mine, an episode from SpongeBob SquarePants. Enjoy. Let me tell you reasons why this episode hasn't learned anything about sharing. SpongeBob and Patrick act like immature 5-year-olds. So SpongeBob, you have a job, you know how to make a Krabby Patty, yet you fight over a toy? In real life, you would definitely get fired. Speaking of immature, when Patrick gets denied his Krabby Kitty meal because he has no money, he starts crying, making him come off like a whiny spoiled brat that could already give Kayla a run for his money. Yes, really. Patrick is selfish and hypocritical in this episode, as he didn't he want to share the licensed toy with his best friend SpongeBob. At first, he thinks sharing is fun, but the next morning, he refuses to share the toy with him, making Patrick an inconsistent hypocrite. By the way, SpongeBob is technically the owner of the licensed toy, since Patrick stole his wallet and paid for it. Patrick promised to pass Patty Pal to SpongeBob tomorrow but refuses so he could play with it all day. The next morning, Patrick lies that he is not home and is washing his hair, even though you could still hear his voice and he doesn't have hair, except on his armpits. When Gary said that Patrick was a non-sharer, Patrick permanently removed Gary from his friend list, which is a very stupid reason to do that and a horrible attempt at comedy. Gary didn't seem to care about that anyways. Patrick can't handle on how much minutes/hours SpongeBob can play with the toy, but only accepts 1 second or none. They fight over the toy from Squidward's house to the Krusty Krab. Patrick then eats the toy and SpongeBob becomes upset about it. It was actually made out of a real Krabby Patty with pickle eyes, a ketchup mouth, and bendy straws for limbs. Straws. He hates straws. He could choke on them. In the end, Mr. Krabs gives both SpongeBob and Patrick another toy, but Patrick steals SpongeBob's wallet to pay for the toy again before questioning SpongeBob if he has learned nothing about sharing, even though he himself has hardly learned anything. Speaking of Mr. Krabs, he stole a Krabby Patty from a customer so he could make the said toy named Patty Pal. Is that the way to treat your customers? This episode relies on making SpongeBob the one to blame, or pull the victim card out on all, because he wanted to have another turn with Patrick so he can play with the kitty toy Mr. Krabs made for them. This episode does not portray the way Patrick behaves as bad behavior, let alone a kid watching this episode to have the episode make them think that this type of behavior is okay, when it actually isn't. Despite this episode being about sharing, this episode leaves out 2 bad morals. One being that showing refusal to share is okay, and the other being that being selfish and spoiled is also okay. The truth is, both of them are far from okay. The 2 bad morals that were shown throughout the episode there are far from being unintentional or thrown in as a mistake. They are more likely used in purpose. Plot holes to point out, Krabby Patties cost $2.99. However, SpongeBob says that a kitty meal costs $1 more, $3.99. Then Squidward says that will be $4.99. That line, in 6 words, have you learned nothing about sharing? The kitty meal costs $2 more, $4.99, than a regular Krabby Patty, $2.99, which doesn't make sense, because it is 30 times smaller than the regular Krabby Patty. The title is a poor reference to the 2005 film made by the same channel in its movie counterpart, Yours, Mine and Ours. That's all I have to say. Bye for now.